Welcome to our Wellness Wednesday session. This session is all about making space for yourself and taking care of yourself. And we are so glad that you joined us today. And if you happen to be joining the session after the recording, we're also glad that you joined in. And without further ado, I will turn it over to Nicole, and she will lead us in prayer today.
All right, let us just begin with the sign of our faith. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, hold me steady. Let not winds or storms erode my roots. Let me be strong, like an oak tree, tall and grace-filled, budding with expectant shoots, bending gently through each season, waiting patiently for change, upright, righteous, full of life. Give shade and shelter with each bough, pushing roots so deep with growth, quenching thirst from eternal streams. Hold me steady, Lord, strong and healthy. Let my mind be close to you. Amen.
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 The guiding questions for today's session are very open-ended. We want you to think about this as we go through the session. Is there anything that we talk about in this slide deck that really resonates to you or speaks to you? And then the other thing is, consider ways that you can use some of these strategies in your own life, or ways that you can support the people who are in your life with some of these strategies. So we want you to be considering those things as we work through this session with you. And so without further ado, I will hand it over to Sherry, and she will start us off with our session today.
So today our focus is if it matters to you, it matters. And the reason we chose this topic was on the heels of everything we've gone through the past few months, we realized that a lot of people are still struggling with processing the information, and we have this tendency, most of us, to compare grievances or to try and talk ourselves out of, feeling low or having a rough day and say, oh, other people have it so much worse. And we talked about how it's not important it is important not to compare grievances, because what you're feeling at any given moment belongs to you, and you need to acknowledge it and work through it to come out on the other side healthy and happier. So some of the things we put up here, it says you matter, your feelings matter. Your feelings matter, your thoughts matter, your voice matters, your anger matters, your hurt matters, your words matter. Your successes matter, your insecurities matter, your inner child matters. Your well-being matters, and your safety matters. And there's just a little picture there, an icon that says, feel what you need to feel. It's okay.
I mean, we just talk about, giving yourself space and that quiet time, and then just using that time to just reconnect with God, to reconnect, whether it's in silence or in prayer. And the reason we do that is because we know that the greatest teacher on earth did the exact same thing, right? He took time away, even in his busy time of ministry, to go to that quiet place and to reconnect with his Father. And so this is a wonderful way that Jesus taught us to be able to help ourselves in our daily lives to find that space, that quiet, and to reconnect. Yeah, I mean, that's it in a nutshell, right? Is refueling, recharging, and connecting with God. And that's a fantastic way for us to, give ourselves that space and to refuel, to re-energize.
To reset. So we talked about what it means to hold space for yourself. Sometimes we're always so busy taking care of everyone else, right? Checking in with our friends, checking in with our families, which is great. But sometimes self-care, we always put on the back burner. So we talked about how important it is to hold space for yourself, to treat yourself with kindness, show yourself compassion, and to do self-check-ins, like, am I okay? And if not, to acknowledge that and to really put some thought and reflection into what do I need to do to get to a better space. This was a really strong statement that we had come across that says, you are not how you feel. Oftentimes people identify themselves, you know, if you're struggling with anxiety or struggling with depression, you kind of start to identify with those struggles. And it's important to acknowledge that it is something you're feeling, but it is not who you are, you know, and you can make peace with that if you really try to acknowledge what's going on, what do I need to do to take care of myself, and know that you're going to come out on the other side stronger than ever before. And one of the things Jody Carrington had said is you need to name it to tame it. And I remember that resonated with me. To thought, okay, instead of like pushing things down or rushing through life, it's to stop and to say, okay, I need to acknowledge what's happening here, and I need to figure out what my body is trying to tell me. Or, you know, everyone can kind of do that, and just be like, okay, I need to slow the pace, or I need to connect with a friend here because you're having a bad day.
I think that's so important because in the busyness of our daily lives, oftentimes we don't take time for ourselves. And, you know, being in the job that we are in as educators, we are often putting everyone else's needs before ourselves. And it's important to recognize the things that you're feeling, to acknowledge them and to feel them, and to get supports that can help you to work through those things. That is so critical to self-care and making space for yourself.
If you can step back for a minute and process the fact that you aren't what you feel, it's just something you're going through. They alluded to it's similar to being out in the storm versus watching the storm through a window. And that's where this slide came from, just 10 ideas on how to come in out of the rain. Of course, there's way, you know, the list can be ongoing, but these are 10 things that we kind of chose. So the first one is write about your feelings from a third-party perspective. Journaling, a lot of people find that that's helpful. Remind yourself of the possible fallibility of your emotions. You know, like sometimes what you're thinking is not actually what's happening. And so to get a different perspective, you need to step back from it sometimes. Remind yourself that this too shall pass. Practice mindfulness. Name your feelings. Again, that goes along with what Jody Carrington had said about you need to name it, to tame it. Find your people. That is, for me, top of the list. Find your people, the people you trust, the people who get you and have your back through the good and the bad. That is number one. Pray. Okay, that's top of the list too. So that's really important. Make lighthearted fun a priority. This group, our mindfulness team, we've tried to do that lots, you know, make fun a priority, laugh at yourself, laugh with your friends. Sometimes it's the best medicine. Change the environment, get outside, right? Get out of your head, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, go for a swim, whatever makes you feel better, just get out and do it. And number 10 was talk it out. Again, that goes hand in hand with find your people, right? Find your people, talk it out.
And what's interesting too, when I look at this list right now, I think, okay, I did 5 of these things today already. And, you know, it's not really that I'm feeling stressed or I feel like I'm in the rain, but, you know, when you make these things a habit in your life, they're always there to fall back on, and they help you through, you know, whether you're having a good day or a bad day.
So yes, you can practice these. You're right to be proactive, not just reactive. Yeah, that's a really good point, Nicole.
Yeah.
This is an article you can look at when you have time, or if you're interested in it. It's attached and it just says 3 questions to ask when you're feeling anxious. But again, being, what are your feelings telling you about what you need? Because often there's a deeper message. When you're feeling something and you're struggling, your body, your mind is telling you there's something you really need.
So it's interesting, just going back to that article comes from a blog, and the blog is called Grit and Virtue. And it's an excellent blog if you want to follow it. There's some really great ideas and articles in there, and the authors are very good. So I encourage you to subscribe to that. Chip Dodd created the feelings chart, and we're going to show you that on the next slide. And it helps you to see how your core emotions, how every core emotion has an impaired version as well as a gift to it. So sort of like the silver lining, so to speak. And if we make space to acknowledge the emotion that we're feeling, we can always see the bright side of things. It's not always easy to do that. And certainly sometimes it's way more challenging. But like we were talking about, if you start putting this into practice on a daily basis and being proactive, it's going to come a little bit easier. The gift of fear is wisdom, and the impairment of that is anxiety. What that means is when we slow down and compassionately acknowledge the fear that we're feeling, we can connect with the gift of wisdom, and that can help to guide us through a situation that feels overwhelming or scary.
Sure. So as Amanda said, the core feelings that he listed were hurt, sadness, loneliness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt. And I won't read the whole chart to you. You can take time to do that. But I thought it was really empowering to be able to see the two sides to that feeling. So where you let your mind go or where your mind takes you. If it goes to the negative, side, those feelings then work as an impairment for your health. But if you can shift your focus over to the benefits of those things, like anger, the benefits could be it helps us to see the truth in the situation, right? Whereas the impairment of that is if we let ourselves be sucked into constant anger and frustration, that can lead to depression. So it's acknowledging the feeling and then kind of thinking, which way am I going to go with this? Which way can I shift my thinking so that it's either going to be beneficial, so that it will be beneficial to me, as opposed to impairing my thoughts and my, my focus. This was kind of deep. It says, when you replace why is this happening to me with what is this trying to teach me, then again, everything can shift for you, right? You're able to step back and instead of being overwhelmed with what is happening and why it's happening, it is what do I need to do to change this game, to change what is happening to me? What do I need to do to be proactive and shift gears?
This is just a song. If you've got a chance to listen to it, I strongly suggest you do. It just speaks to, whenever we are in situations and we know that God is always with us no matter what, but when we are asking him to change things, that it kind of goes with the slide before. Sometimes it's not that we need things to change, but it's that we need ourselves to change and that we need to look at it differently. And so this song is a beautiful, the lyrics are beautiful that speak to that kind of message.
Tagging onto that, I guess, this is also a beautiful song that talks about your frustration sometimes even in your faith, and you want to be like, okay, when is this storm going to be over? When are you going to put an end to this? And it's reflecting on, sometimes that's not what the answer, the message is supposed to be, right? It's what do I need to do to get through this storm, holding on to my faith, holding on to my morals and my compass, and doing what I need to do to weather the storm, not waiting for someone else to make the storm stop.
Yeah.
You're beautiful, you are loved, you are needed, you are strong, and you are enough.
Yeah, you are enough just because you are a child of God, right?
To those feelings, if it matters to you, like we said, it matters. And just because someone else may have it worse, and chances are they do, that doesn't diminish the fact that you're struggling right now with something and it's hurting your heart and it's weighing on your mind, and you need to just give yourself time to process it, work through it, and then put it behind you. But if it matters to you, it matters.
Awesome. I think we can just stop there, hey?
We'll go into a discussion.
Thanks everyone for joining today. Hope you enjoyed the session. Join us next Wednesday for our final Wellness Wednesday session of the year.
Take care.
Bye.
And